whodunit that left a judge, quote, flabbergasted with the excuse offered by the accused robber. First, a surveillance photo that helped crack the case. The mom saw this image. The mom thought it looked like her son, took him down to the police station. Here's the crime. Someone stuck up a metro conductor. You can see the gun on the robber there. Even the conductor standing still with his hands up in the air. The accused 18-year-old Zion Brown faced a judge today. The Loyola University economics major confessed, saying he did it because he was hungry and needed money to eat. Brown claims he went to class after he took the $100 from the conductor. Brown has no criminal history or background. Says it was a BB gun, which he threw in a dumpster. The judge reflected on being hungry and a college student herself at one time, noting she never robbed anyone to get cash.
Okay, so y'all just heard that little clip right there from this story that came out of Chicago on a few days ago. It came out a few days ago. I'm recording this on February 25th, 2022. And I'm going to read a little bit of the article that's coming from the New York Post that was posted on February 21st, 2022. It says the suspect caught in a Chicago train robbery has been identified as a Loyola University student recognized by his own mother, who reportedly dragged him into the police station to turn himself in. Zion Brown, an 18-year-old sophomore at Loyola University, Chicago, has been charged with armed robbery after allegedly stealing about $100 in cash at gunpoint from a Metro train conductor Tuesday afternoon, WBB-MTV reported. After recognizing photos of a masked suspect seen glancing into a station security camera shared by police and reported by the media as her son, Brown's mother brought him into a police station in Calumet City for him to turn himself in. The detail was revealed at Brown's bond hearing, where he was represented by a private defense attorney who argued his client was hungry and was looking for something to eat. Brown reportedly attended class after the armed holdup, and his lawyer asked the judge to remember her own days as a hungry college kid, determining his bail. Cook County Judge Mariam Ahmad ordered Brown held without bail, citing the Cook County State's Attorney Office. According to CWB, Ahmad rejected the defense attorney's argument, saying as a hungry college kid, she herself would have never thought to rob someone, and granted the state's request for no bail. Brown's next court appearance is scheduled for March 4th. Metro Police initially asked the public for help identifying the suspect spotted in the street surveillance photos at the Van Buren Street station in downtown Chicago. As the train pulled into the station around 2:17 p.m., the pictured offender, who was a passenger, produced a black semi-automatic handgun and announced a robbery. Police said he then allegedly proceeded to steal the conductor's cash and fled on foot into the station. One of the photos shows the masked suspect with a weapon on the platform. Conductor is seen in the background still holding his hands up. During an interview with police, Brown allegedly said the weapon he displayed during the robbery was actually a BB gun, which he claimed to have thrown into a dumpster in an alley afterward, and Brown had no prior criminal record. First off, before I actually get into this, I actually have to give kudos to the mom, to his mother, for turning her son in, or having him go down to the police station to turn himself in, because she really actually saved his life. Because imagine, he just continued to do this and he never confessed to this, or he just kept continuing to go on and go forward. If they had to come look for him, it would have been so much more worse. And we already know what when it's like when you're dealing with black men and them coming and the police coming to look for you. Or even if they're not looking for you. I mean, we've seen that with those no-knock raids. So I definitely give kudos to the mother for doing that. And also smart on her part, because she does not want to be seen as the person who is enabling this behavior or aiding and abetting with a criminal, because now he has started his non-criminal record has now turned into a criminal record, because now this is on his record for the rest of his life. And because he didn't have a bail, this is a serious, now it has turned into a serious crime, because it wasn't like he just robbed this conductor, like took the money and ran. He held this conductor up with a gun. Granted, it was a BB gun, but when I saw like a picture where he was holding a gun by his waist when he was walking out of the station in the surveillance footage, it looked like a real gun. And that's the thing. A lot of those BB guns do look like real guns, and BBs from a BB gun do hurt, especially if they're shot at point blank range. I remember when I shot my first BB gun, but it was shooting it at a plastic cup. If it can go through a plastic cup, well, granted, a plastic cup is more fragile than skin, but if it can go through a plastic cup, imagine what it'll do to to the flesh at point blank range. It's like literally getting shot with a needle. Like almost, and not just with them injecting the needle slowly into the body, but them stabbing it into your body and then injecting it or pushing the injection. So this was not the smartest thing for him to do. And he's going with the story that he was hungry and needed something to eat. But now it's like, were you really doing that to get something to eat? Because from what I heard, him going to Loyola University, I heard that's not a cheap school to get into. So there's money somewhere, unless he's there on a scholarship or was. Now, this will definitely affect him. It's his school. I wouldn't be surprised if the school kicks him out after this, and I wouldn't even hold it against them if they did, because it's like, that's going to look bad for them to keep someone there who it was a student who held a person up at gunpoint to steal money from them. Like when this charge went just from robbery and escalated to armed robbery, that is a felony. It doesn't matter if it was a BB gun or not. The fact of the matter is, you held someone at gunpoint and stole from them. The only good thing about this is the fact that his mother made him turn himself in, and that they didn't have to come looking for him. He initially has now completely, possibly thrown his life away because of this one incident. You think those future employers or whoever he tries to get hired by is going to care that you were hungry and this is what you had to do to get the money to pay for food, allegedly? And we have to say allegedly because were you really trying to get food? Because if you see how he's dressed, it doesn't look like he went shopping at Target. Like if you look at the attire that he had on, let me pause it so you can see. That's him right there in the surveillance. This is what he had on. As you can see, this is the gun right here. It's the BB gun he's holding right here. Does that look like the attire of someone who needs $100? His whole outfit looks like it cost half of a stack. So you tell me, do you really think he was hungry or he just wanted to rob somebody that day? That's how they're going to look at it. They're probably going to ask him, how much did your clothes cost that you have on right here when you did this robbery? And if that thing comes up to more than $100, sir, you are probably going to look at some serious time. Like, the fact that he got no bail should have him worried that he's going to do some time. He's probably not going to do a whole bunch of time, but he is a black man in America, so they might throw the book at him, so who knows? But then they're going to have, if there's a trial, they're going to definitely have that conductor on the witness stand because they are the star witness. They're the ones that got robbed and held at gunpoint. And their testimony is going to really determine his fate. The only thing that can get him out of this is if the conductor sympathizes or empathizes with him about the food thing and saying, or tries to, be calm with him and understandable of what he did and why he did. If they go for that, that's the only way I could see him getting a lesser amount of time in jail, because if not, he's definitely going to do probably over a year in jail. And he's so young. He's only 18. But yeah, I can't bring myself to say I completely feel bad for him. But I do applaud the mother for making her son turn himself in, because if she didn't, she would have looked just as bad as he did, because it would look like she was enabling bad behavior, and aiding and abetting would have been not aiding and abetting, but say harboring a fugitive. Possibly, if they got to that point, it would have came on to her. So she had to look out for herself at that point too, because they get both of them. That's it. So she did what she felt she had to do. Now, my question to you, to people in the chat, or people who are watching this video, I should say, if you have children and you found out your child did this, what would you have to do? What would you feel you had to do as a parent? Would you turn your child in, make them turn themselves in, or would you not say anything out of fear of being called a snitch? I don't see what her doing right here will be seen as snitching. She was saving her son's life. Because if she didn't say anything and they had to come for him, they would have came for her too. Because then they would have said, oh, she knew. Especially if she would have found out that it was her son. It's not like she wouldn't have known it was him. She saw it on the news and recognized that was her son. She knew it was her son before she confronted him. So, and it probably would have been a guilty conscience of weighing her like, I can't just let my son slide. Granted, that is my son and I love him to death, but he has to own up to his actions and face the consequences of said actions. So I'm not mad that the mom did this. I'm more mad that he did this. He has his whole future ahead of him and possibly squandered it with this one thing, over $100 measly. And I remember the days of being a broke college student, and like the judge said, I was not thinking of wanting to rob somebody for some money. I just was very careful about how I spent it, especially since I wasn't working. You know, a lot of college students don't work because it's kind of hard to work when you are going between classes. Now, I probably had my opportunity to work if I wanted to, more so my senior year, because I didn't have as many classes to deal with. And even then, that was a bit of a reach because the first semester was hell for me. But that last semester of my college career in 2011 was a breeze. That would have been perfect for me to actually, you know, work. But, you know, it was my last semester, so that was my chance to just really chill and kick back before I graduated. But yeah, there's so many other ways he could have got that money if he really wanted to in a more legal way than what he went about doing it. But some people nowadays, a lot of generation nowadays, you got to think he's 18. So he was born in the early 2000s. You know, some of them don't really think all the way through. And clearly he didn't. But now he's about to find out that there are consequences for his actions. Hopefully, you know, he'll be able to learn from this. I'm sure that he will. And like I said, this is a good thing that the mom did turn him in, because if she didn't, who knows? Like, this is, I guess you could say this is like his fresh start. This could have been a fresh start to him leading down to an even more darker path of criminal activity. Because, you know, it always starts off light, and then some people might get a lust for it, and then they'll continue to do it more and more. And that's probably what could have happened with him. Not saying it would, but it possibly could have, had he not gotten caught. So it's a good thing that he did get caught. And hopefully, you know, this, like I said, is a learning lesson for him. I would say he can get off lightly, but with that BB gun, that's a bit of a stretch now. If it wasn't no weapon involved, yeah, we could probably say that he would probably do some time, maybe some probation and community service. But this one right here, he's probably gonna have to pay a fine. He's definitely going to probably do some jail time. He's probably going to have to get dropped out of school. So, you know, but all I can do is say is hopefully he can bounce back from this, especially since he's very young, and that he learns from this. Let this just be a learning lesson for him. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you are new, make sure that you hit that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video or go live.